Brave Girls Bible Stories, the Old Testament. His love makes us strong. Eve, picture perfect. Genesis 1, chapters 1 through 4, verse 1. We know that in everything God works for the good of those who love him. Romans 8:28. The Garden of Eden was one perfect garden. Out of absolutely nothing, God created the most amazing universe, incredible animals and colors and sounds and smells. Everything was picture perfect and ran right on time, in just the right way, exactly how I wish life would be. But life isn't perfect anymore, is it? No matter how hard I try, I just can't get everything to work out like I planned. That's because sin entered God's perfect world. God created the world's first people, Adam and Eve, in his own image. They got to live in that beautiful garden and have a perfect relationship with God. But then Eve believed Satan instead of God and talked Adam into disobeying God too. Suddenly it was like someone poured dark ink all over the beautiful picture God had made. Life seemed ruined. My little sister accidentally poured paint over one of my best paintings one time, so I can kind of imagine how God must have felt. But God had an awesome way of painting over Adam and Eve's sins with the perfect solution. Before Eve entered the scene, God had already been busy. With his word, he made the universe burst into being. On the first day, he made day and night. On day 2 came the sky. He zeroed in on the earth for day 3 and made oceans and mountains, forests and deserts. He filled the pastures with green grass and rainbows of flowers. On the 4th day, the sun, moon, and stars first appeared in the sky. And then came the creatures. On day 5, birds were flying through the skies and fish were diving in the oceans. And on the 6th day, animals began crawling and running and leaping across the grass. But God had something even more amazing to make, people, in his own image. God made Adam from the dirt of the ground and breathed life into him. God made Eve next, from Adam's own rib, when he was in a deep sleep. Imagine what Eve saw when her eyes first fluttered open. There was Adam, the first man God had made. Then she looked around and saw all the beauty in the Garden of Eden. Must have been awesome. I bet it took her breath away. Eve, the first woman ever created, was perfect, just like the creation around her. So what happened? Why isn't our world like God made it in the beginning? Although the garden was filled with yummy fruit trees to eat from, God had warned Adam and Eve that they would die if they ate from one of the trees in the center of the garden, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God gave them a chance to make choices, good or bad. Satan, God's enemy, decided that the forbidden tree was the perfect place to trick Eve. So, in the form of a snake, Satan slithered to the tree and told Eve a lie. "You won't die like God said if you eat this," Satan said. "You'll just become smart like God." The fruit really does look good, Eve thought. And so she ate the forbidden fruit and gave some to Adam too. Then everything changed. Immediately, she and Adam were ashamed that they had no clothes on. So they sewed fig leaves together to cover up. Then they hid when they heard God coming. Not looking very brave at all, Eve was shaking, scared at what God would do when he saw the mess she had made. Adam and Eve's disobedience had some big consequences. Death and sadness and pain entered the world, hurting all of creation. Adam and Eve had to leave the garden, and the perfect place wasn't perfect anymore. The good thing is God didn't leave Adam and Eve. He loved them too much, and he had a plan. Many, many years later, God sent his own son, Jesus, to earth. As God and man, Jesus would live the perfect life that no one else could. Then he would die to cover Eve's sins and mine and yours and everyone else who trusts him. Better still, he would rise from the dead. He fought sin and won. Faith says, wow, I can't imagine what Eve must have felt. I have a hard enough time when I lose my temper or say something mean to my sister. I get so frustrated with myself that I don't want to try to do things right anymore. I guess that's why I think Eve was so brave. She made a horrible decision that hurt her, Adam, and the rest of the world, but Eve kept going, and God helped her. Eve reminds us that no sin or bad choices too big for God to cover. His love outshines our not-so-good days. And even though we're not perfect, he promises forgiveness through someone who is perfect, Jesus. I'm so glad we belong to a God like that. Lord, help me have faith that you will always love me, forgive me, and take care of me. Amen.